My name is Mams and I make weird music. And today we are gonna be talking about the oud. As you might already know, the oud is a Middle Eastern string instrument. It is famously known as being one of the ancestral instruments for the guitar. Wait. Yes, this makes more sense. In between these two, there was also the Renaissance lute, which was influenced by the oud, and then that in turn influenced the classical guitar. Of course, there are several other instruments on that evolutionary timeline, but I don't want to get into that discussion right now. Maybe check out this video by Brandon Acker that explains it properly. But coming back to the oud, there is no doubt that this instrument has definitely influenced the lineage that leads up to this. Now, there are different types of oud based on the geography and the culture. I am not 100% sure, but I think this one is an Arabic oud. There are also other types like the Turkish, the Egyptian, and probably several others. It is supposed to have 11 strings traditionally, but as you can see here, there is a possibility of having 12 strings since it has 12 pegs. There are supposed to be 5 double chord strings like a 12-string guitar, and then the final string is a single string. I am borrowing this instrument from my workplace, and I think a few years ago, this did in fact have 11 strings. But one of the strings probably broke, and now it only has 4 double courses and 2 single strings. There are different types of tunings followed by different cultures. I started learning through a course on Udemy, and it shows the tuning to be a low C, 2 low Gs, which I only have one off right now, 2 low As, 2 Ds, 2 Gs, and then finally 2 high Cs. In the number system, it would be 1, 5, 6, a 9 or a 2, 12, which is a perfect fifth above the octave, and then finally 2 octaves above. Traditionally, it was played with something called a Risha, and in olden times, they even used a bird's feather. I don't have a Risha, so instead, I just use a guitar pick. I know that might piss off some oud traditionalists, but I'm trying to make the best with what I have. Of course, it is a fretless instrument, and that is especially important because traditional oud music makes use of microtones. These are notes in between our regular 12th piano notes. 12th basically means that the octave is divided into 12 equal parts, which are our semitones. But for oud music, there are smaller intervals, which are the microtones. I haven't quite got the microtones, but let me try. Taking this C as our root, this would be our major third. And this would be our minor third. Now, if I can visually see the space in between them and try to put my finger right in between, this would be like a neutral third or a quarter flat. The traditional music played on the oud makes use of something called Maqams. I do not understand it, so take whatever I say with a grain of sugar. But from the scant knowledge that I have of it, it is somewhat like a scale, or maybe even more closer to an Indian classical raga. I know that the ajam is the Western major scale or the Ionian mode. that the Nahawand is the natural minor scale or the Aeolian mode. But I've also seen the harmonic minor sometimes being referred to as the Nahawand. As you can see, some of my notes are not very precise because it's a fretless instrument.
And I don't practice it much.
The kurd is the Phrygian. And then the Hijaz is the Phrygian dominant, or what I like to call the Phrygian major, since it's a Phrygian with a major third in it. I also haven't quite mastered the vibrato that they do on the oud. Then there are the microtonal maqams like maqam rust, which has a quarter flat 3 and a quarter flat 7. I'm not going to try and play that. Maqam Bayati, I believe, is like the Dorian, but with a quarter flatted second and a quarter flatted sixth. The other thing that I'm not too sure about is how does the concept of key play into this? Because in most examples, I have seen that each maqam is played in a different key. If they were just like ragas, then they would have shown them in the same key. And if they are all supposed to be in different keys, then whatever I just show you was all wrong. What makes it even more complicated is that sometimes they take smaller fragments of these maqams, like 4 or 5 notes, called tetrachords or pentachords, but then they modulate between these maqams. So the lower half can be in a different maqam and the upper half can be in a different maqam. Please explain to me down in the comments if I have grossly misunderstood them. Oh, and while you're down there, also leave a like and subscribe to the channel because I have made a song with the oud. This song was made long ago for a song challenge by Ben Levin, Hugo Moreau, and Justice Cow. It is completely improvised and is in free time like an Indian classical alap. It is improvised, so I am not strictly following a scale, let alone a maqam, but it is somewhat in harmonic minor or rag kirwani. I'm not gonna dare to use the maqam name as I might be completely off. Over that, I added some whispered spoken word vocals. I also used my hands as a shield in between myself and the mic so as to muffle the sounds a little bit more. Kinda like this. I don't really have much else to say about the song, so let's just listen to it.
It's been a dark year. There have been thorns all across. Or is it just me? Am I the thorn? I'm just a walking ball of depression, a walking ball of negativity, a walking ball of anxiety. Cause every little victory and every little loss feels insignificant. Am I any better than what I was last year? Maybe I am. But am I really? Is this just a facade? Is this just an act? Who are you? It's just on a different plane. It's nowhere higher. It's just in a different place. Things are slightly different. Things are slightly changed. But I'm still that same sack of shit. Will there be a but? Will there be a but? Or is it just gonna be another year of thorns?
Welcome back. Did you like the song? Did you like the song? Did you like the song? Cause if you did, then you should subscribe. Tell me in the comments below if you have played the oud or like listening to the oud music. Suggest me some artists I should check out. Some that I know of are Anwar Brahim, Joseph Tawardos, and there's also a YouTube channel called Oud for Guitarists that I think will be very helpful for us guitarists. Maybe I might be able to learn more. Who knows? maybe I could make an oud sample pack. But I do already have a sitar sample pack. So the sample pack can be found on my Patreon, for which the link will be down in the description below. For $10 a month, you can get access to all of the sample packs, as well as a lot of backing tracks, lots of outtakes of my songs, lots of demo recordings, chords of my songs, and lots of other good stuff. And if you'd just like to show some support, then you can get the sample packs and your name at the end of my videos with just $5 a month. So please do become a patron by heading over to the link in the description. On Bandcamp, I also have all the music I have ever released, including my new album, Small Town Boy. Actually, Small Town Boy is also available on all other major streaming platforms. And if you want a similar video that I have done on the bowel instrument dotara, then that will pop up on the screen after I run. Okay, ready? Stay untuned. Okay, bye.